I don't believe the Taliban are going to last long term. I don't think it's going to be ISIS-K. I think it's going to be, basically the resurgence of the Northern Alliance that we're seeing now that's already been fighting against Taliban in the north. We trained some amazing fighters through the years, and I was with them on the battlefield. My colleagues were, your forces were as well. Very capable. And what happened in Afghanistan in that 11-day takeover was extremely complicated. And I think we're going to see a resurgence of anti-Taliban increasingly organizing and becoming increasingly successful. And within 5 years, I think a lot sooner, the Taliban won't be owning the country. I'm not sure. I mean, I know they ran the country previously, but that was a long time ago in different generations. I'm not sure they're even ready to do it right now. So that's going to be a big part of it as well. The easiest one to differentiate is ISIS-K versus the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda and the Taliban are two, the kind of parallel groups that have been bedfellows, as we know from, from our history with 9/11, where the Taliban was giving Al-Qaeda safe haven in Afghanistan and the ability to plan attacks against the United States, which kicked off 9/11 and the 20-year war in Afghanistan, what we call the Forever War. ISIS-K is, strangely enough to say, an even more radicalized group as far as their ideology. ISIS-K is the enemy of the majority of the other terrorist groups out there that we call our enemies. And the reason is that unless every other group adheres to their strict version of Sharia law, to their version of the caliphate that they want to establish across the Middle East, be it initially in Syria and Iraq, and then in Afghanistan and Pakistan for ISIS-K. Any group that opposes that is their mortal enemy. In fact, ISIS-K started fighting the Taliban on the ground, starting in 2015, 2016 in Afghanistan. We have seen reports that the Taliban had already been, all through last year, been maintaining relations with Al-Qaeda. But we don't know how verified those are. We'll have to see how that pans out. Now, with ISIS-K, if there's anything good out of this whole development, is we know ISIS-K and the Taliban completely hate each other. They have been battling for years. ISIS-K fluctuates. They're very strong in how they coordinate, how they recruit, how they organize and equip, how they train the forces under them. I mean, I have conducted campaigns against ISIS in Iraq, Syria, and Afghanistan, hunting them from the air, having our US and partner forces hit them on the ground. And I'll tell you, in every location, even though it's different nationalities, ethnicities that all identify under ISIS-K, they all share one thing in common. They're very well organized, equipped, and trained. I mean, in 2017, we had a huge operation called Operation Hamza going on for months. In fact, that's where the famed Moab strike happened against ISIS-K. Those guys were using old talc mines, going in and out of the talc mines, coming up, shooting at our guys at the Afghan forces, going back down. Some of the best guerrilla tactics you've ever seen, really. And we've seen that common throughout, we'll say, all three theaters, Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan, where we're fighting them the heaviest. Their military prowess is obvious, but their influence throughout the country is far above that of ISIS-K, as we can see. They took over so many of these military units strictly through their influence. as well as the lead politicians within the country. And in fact, if they hadn't done that and hadn't had that ability, Afghan forces would still be fighting them. They would not have taken over the country.